success. Here's the only true definition of success. No. Write this down. The successful manager of time, we're talking in terms of time management, but this works in any role. The successful manager of time is willing to do that which the unsuccessful manager of time, the successful manager of time is willing to do that which the unsuccessful manager of time is not willing to do. You can stick any role into there, the successful athlete, the successful musician, the successful mom, the successful student. What's the essence of that definition? I think it's what you just said. They're willing to do the things that aren't necessarily the most comfortable, but they are necessary to do. Okay, second one. Wisdom. Wisdom. Wisdom is knowledge rightly applied. Wisdom is knowledge rightly applied. Quick story. When I was 19, 20, I gained an enormous amount of weight. I stopped doing what I was doing in high school. I was really, really active in high school. I stopped doing that, and I was involved in something where I ate a ton of food, and it was Mexican food, which is my favorite kind of food, and I gained a ton of weight. I was just like huge, chins. I have pictures of me. And I remember on one occasion I was playing basketball. I was living in California, and I was playing basketball at this church, and there was a bunch of us playing, and I remember when this guy had a camera, and I went up for a rebound, and the guy happened to take a picture of me, and my shirt went up, and there's this huge gut. It was just, and I ran up and down the court by maybe 2 or 3 times, and I was just wasted. I was so tired, and I thought, man, something's wrong here. And this was back in 1980. There wasn't obese people back then. And I was one. I was huge. And I said, I don't know this can never happen again. It was just such a sickening feeling not being able to play a full game of basketball and have that picture, that image of me I have 2 pictures, one of me sitting in a chair and there's like 5 chins. I look like Jabba the Hutt. I mean, it was really embarrassing. And now, I didn't realize back then, we know stuff now we didn't know back then. I didn't realize that it had to do with my food, that I was eating so much. I kind of sensed it, but I didn't have a good understanding. And I realized I need to do something about this, And so I remember I got hold of one book. I remember the name of the book. I remember the author of it. It was green. It was called Everything You Need to Know About Nutrition. And I read this book from beginning to end and thought, maybe it has to do with my nutrition. Maybe it has to do with what I'm eating, because Mexican food, if you eat too much of it, as yummy as it is. And so I learned what I needed to know food-wise, and then I realized, it must have something to do also with my activity, because I'm not doing it nearly as much as I did. So I learned what I needed to do physically to lose the weight, to drop the pounds. But I noticed nothing happened until when? What had to happen in order for me to lose the pounds? What's the definition of wisdom?
Knowledge rightly applied.
So what had to happen in order for me to lose the pounds?
You have to eat right and exercise.
I had to do something, right? Which in this case was eat cleaner and exercise a bit more. Anything more than what I was doing. And then, yeah, the pounds dropped off, and little by little I still struggle with it, but it wasn't, in most cases with health, knowledge is kind of useless. I shouldn't say it's useless, but it doesn't do us much good until we actually do something with that knowledge. It's wonderful to know how to meditate and do yoga, but if you never close your eyes and you never get on a mat, no matter how much you know all the fancy names for all the yoga poses, it's worthless information. Wisdom is knowledge rightly applied.